Hey YouTube, I'm going to be going over the NAMI, which is the flight physical in Pensacola, Florida, and you get like a briefing of everything. I can't think of like any like technical terms right now, but like you get like a paper, everything that you're going to be doing while you're there, and you know, things like that. So I'm going to be going over that so you know what to expect. My experience may be different from yours, but this is what I experienced when I went about 2 months ago. Everybody will be staying at the Navy Gateway Inn and Suites, which will be on base. I did have like a few issues with my hotel, but when I got there, but I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm only here for like a short period of time. I didn't even have a shower head. I'll have to like show you a photo. I took I didn't even have a shower head. Like I just had like, it spouted water and the water pressure was like horrible. I was like, I felt like I was taking like a bird bath. I was like, bro, what? And then the sink was clogged already, like when I got there, like in the bathroom, because I went to brush my teeth and I was like, man, what? So, but you know, whatever, I didn't say anything. And then the AC, they got like a, you know, the old school box AC. Oh, what am I saying? In hotels they have like the big old AC or whatever, but it sounded like loud. Like I'm talking like airplane noises. Like it sounded like they were taking off or something when that thing was on. Like that thing was loud for no reason. They were doing renovations, so I think only like 2 buildings were open. But anyways, let's go over some flight physical reporting instructions. These are some of the things that you cannot do like prior to getting there. But it says candidates will not use alcohol or tobacco 72 hours prior to the physical. Candidates will not eat or drink except water after 2100 the day of arrival, which is Sunday. Candidates will remove any contact lenses 24 hours prior to arrival. Candidates will not participate in physical training or otherwise strenuous activities 5 days prior to physical. Candidates will hand carry the following: eyeglasses or contacts, appropriate civilian attire for 5 days of travel, 1 set of civilian PT attire, green on green is not permitted, money for 5 days of hotel costs and meals, toiletries, copy of defense travel system orders, sunglasses recommended. Definitely recommend that because you will be getting your eyes dilated, and then when you go out to lunch, the sun is gonna bother your eyes like really bad. Like you'll be fine like indoors, but once you step outside, oof, way too bright. Let's see, candidates will carry a copy of the Marine Corps Recruiting Command's Naval Aerospace Medical Institute contact information on all times. Candidates will call in 3 days prior to physical date, which is Friday, to confirm contact information upon arrival to Pensacola International Airport, and if there are any changes or delays in their travel plans. Yes, I had a gunnery sergeant that picked me up from the airport, and I had to reach out to him because I had a 4-hour delay. So I flew out from RDU, went to Charlotte, and then once I hit Charlotte, there was a 4-hour layover. And apparently I wasn't the only one. A lot of people also had layovers as well. I believe I arrived at like 7 p.m. And I arrived at like 7 p.m. and there was two to three other people that got picked up at the same time as I did at the airport. One of them was actually on my plane, and it's funny because like I was sitting like right here and he was sitting, actually I think he sat next to me. Yeah, he sat next to me on the plane. And he was wearing like a white polo shirt, khakis, one backpack, and like he had sunglasses, and I literally, like in my head, I'm like, I bet you he's like one of the candidates that are going to the NAMI. And he was on the little van that the gunnery sergeant picked us up on. But we had people fly in at like midnight. There was a guy that came in, I think all the way from like France. He was like on vacation with his family, flew out literally just for the exam, and then he went back like the next day. So crazy. But yeah, make sure you have your the contact information of the person that you are going to be interacting with the whole time you are there, and make sure you keep them up to date. Schedule at the NAMI. So Sunday is the day of arrival. We already know all of that. Candidates will be transported from the Pensacola International Airport to the Navy Gateway Inns and Suites, located on Naval Air Station Pensacola. Upon arrival to the NGIS, candidates will check in and execute their reservations. Candidate will complete necessary documents during their transportation to the hotel and receive their in brief. Candidates will have the remainder of the day to their disposal. It says 2. Monday is their first day of examination. The candidates will meet at the main lobby at 0645 dressed in their civilian PT attire. They will bring a valid photo ID, sunglasses, which are optional, money for lunch, and money for a vending machine or snacks are optional as well. The first day of examination will consist of an eye exam. It says SNA pilot applicants will have their eyes dilated, vitals, blood draw, urinalysis, EKG, autogram, and examination by the flight surgeon. Additional examination due to abnormal results or based on medical history may be completed at any point before completion of the day. Candidates will go to lunch usually between 11:30 and 1200, concluding at 12:55. All candidates will complete x-rays. The majority of candidates will be brought back to the NGIS upon completion. For those candidates requiring additional examinations, this time will be utilized to complete those requirements. The entire group will then meet at 1700 to transport as a group for conduct of a professional dinner. Dress for occasion will be appropriate casual attire. Upon completion, candidates will be transported back to the NGIS and will be released for the evening. All information in preparation for Tuesday will be passed prior to being released. So Monday, actually, everything that I just read is not everything that happened. So like day one, I count day one as Monday because it's the day of the exams. I did the eye exam, the depth perception, they dilated the eyes, I did further examination. For me, I got something that wasn't a good thing, and I had to go see a specialist for the retina when I came back home. I have white spots behind the left eye, and they don't know if that's like something that's gonna affect my vision in the future, currently, or whatever it is. So I had to go get that examined, and that cost $313 out of pocket, and that's with my insurance. So hopefully when you go, you don't find anything, or they don't find anything. You do see the flight surgeon, which is the physical. They tell you like no energy drinks. If you need any medication, you can't even like go to the store and buy it. You have to get in contact with the flight surgeon and get it approved. Things like that. You are allowed to have coffee, and there's like a certain amount of milligrams you're supposed to have a day. It's pretty cool though, because like you get a sense of like they care about like your safety and the safety of everybody else that's going to be inside of the plane, or even like whatever it is that you're flying. You get a sense of like you're important, and they care about you, and they care about everything else involving the aircraft that you're going to be flying. You do a urinalysis. That was kind of funny because my eyes were already dilated, and then the guy asked me to read the poster. I was the only female there out of like, I think it was like 13 of us. No, I think it was like more than that. But anyways, it was like less than 20. I was the only female there, and there was a poster on the wall, and the guy goes, oh, you know, just read this, and he hands me like a cup and then gives me like some, you know, like a wipe or whatever. And I said, yeah, I can't read that right now because my eyes are dilated. Do you mind reading that out loud? And he's like, oh shit, my bad. And then like he read it out loud, but it was so funny because like you have like a grown-ass man reading like, oh, you know, make sure the flaps are like this and lips are like this. I thought it was funny. He probably was like, oh, you know, like, oh, cringe, like I gotta read this out loud, like it's kind of embarrassing, but I thought it was kind of funny. But yeah, you do the urinalysis, you got blood work. For the blood work, I noticed that like people that went before me had like two arms because like they couldn't find a vein. So as soon as I got in there, they had this arm propped up, and I said, hey, can we just do this one because I got a nice vein, and it took one shot and we were done. So I didn't have like two taped up arms. We did the EKG. If you're a female, you are allowed to have somebody else present on your behalf, like another female. I opt out in that because, well, I mean, you're a mom, you don't have privacy, so I don't care. And there was like two people in there anyways, so I don't care. There is a chest x-ray as well, which you guys will, the person that's in charge of all you guys while you're there, for me, was the gunnery sergeant. He took us to another location where we did the chest x-rays, and then he took us back. And then at the end of the day, we got to, when we were done with all of our exams, we got to go back to our hotel, and then he told us the only, like, I think there was only like two things that would like deliver, and it was Chick-fil-A and like a pizza place. And that was the only thing you could eat, like if you wanted it delivered to your hotel, because nothing else, like Uber Eats or the other big famous one, I can't think of it right now. Yeah, they don't deliver. So he was like, oh, just make sure you only get like Chick-fil-A, this and that. So I got Chick-fil-A, and then like while I was at my hotel, I was watching Bridgerton because I got into it. And then I also went to, and I almost forgot. So the gunnery sergeant took us to the beach. I didn't know there was the beach on base, and I was like literally trying to like think the whole time while I'm there, okay, so how am I going to be able to see this very beautiful clear blue water, which I've never seen in person before. So I was like really excited. And I knew that's something I wanted to do before I left because I didn't know when I was going to be back in Pensacola, Florida. I was like, okay, how am I gonna get back on base because I don't have an active ID anymore, you know, blah, 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 whatever. And then he goes, oh yeah, there's one on base. He's like, I'll drive you guys there. So he kind of like toured us around before he took us back to the hotel. And it was so blue and pretty. I was like, oh my God, like this is what I see in photos. Like this is so pretty. And then I decided, oh, you know, like I'm gonna go home, take a small nap, you know, get Chick-fil-A, have it delivered, eat, and then I was gonna, you know, go walk to the beach. I went to go walk to the beach, but because it was later in the evening, the water was no longer like super blue. It was still like it wasn't dirty looking, but it wasn't like super vibrant like blue. And then, well, I mean, it makes sense, right? Because like the sun is what gives it that color as well. And the sun was kind of going down already. So I was like, okay, well then I'll just make it a priority of mine to go the next day. And I'll go over that in a little bit. But day 2 of being there, we did the dental x-rays. And then after that, we walked back to the hotel. And then I think I got done like in an hour. So we didn't have to meet the gunnery sergeant until I think it was like 1100. So I walked to the hotel. And then I literally got on like my PT stuff and I jogged all the way to the beach and then all the way back. And I think it was like 2 or 3 miles there and then 2 or 3 miles back. But I jogged all the way there just so I can see like the pretty water, and oh yeah, it was beautiful. It was that vibrant blue, so I took some photos, and it even had like green in it too. Like if you can see like the green and blue like merge, the colors kind of like merge together like along the shore, like where the sand was at. That was very pretty. And then I also took my book with me and I read for a little bit. I'm reading Jordan Peterson, The 12 Rules of Life or 12 Ways of Life. I forgot what the title was, but something like that. And then when we met up at the food court, got some food. I got Panda Express, and then the gunner sergeant picked us up, and then he took us to the museum. And the museum, we were there for like 3 hours. I mean, it was amazing seeing like all the aircrafts that they had before, and like it's just cool to see how much technology has advanced and like see like what goes on in people's heads and how they come up with this stuff and like the engineering behind it. Like it was amazing. One of the things that was cool is that like the Blue Angels, like we saw them like multiple times. You can hear them when the aircrafts are going over us, but also we got to see them like practice, and like that was the coolest thing ever. I got like 2 videos of that, like really good videos that actually another candidate sent to me, so I'll show that. Very pretty. And then after that, we went back to the hotel. We had like 2 hours before we had to go to dinner with the gunnery sergeant. It was between, I think it was Mexican or some Irish place, and we did the Irish pub. That was a lot of fun. And then my flight was the first one. It was the earliest one the next day, so I got to miss out on day 3, which I will read. It says, Wednesday is the last chance to complete any additional examinations. Most candidates will meet at 0830 and will be checked out of the NGIS standing by with their belongings. The group will then be transported to the VT-10 squadron for a static display of a T-6AB. A certified instructor from the squadron will give the presentation and provide the opportunity for questions. This display will conclude no later than 10:00. At this time, candidates will then be outbriefed and transported back to the Pensacola International Airport or released to begin their return drive. So I missed out on that. Really woke up that morning, checked out of the hotel. I had transportation pick me up. The lady was super nice, very sweet lady. Took me to the airport, and then that was it. That was my whole NAMI. And then, you know, I came back home and I had to, you know, contact a specialist for the retina. I did get seen, I think it was actually last week. And they had to inject. This was very interesting. I've never had this happen before. But also, it's just my negligence. But like, you know how you're supposed to do like a yearly exam for like your health? I didn't know you also do that for your eyes. I don't know. I just didn't put that together. I didn't know because I've never been told. But the medical, I do the yearly checkup because I know about that. But like, I didn't know about the eyesight. So that was new to me. But while I was there, he said that there's no way, he doesn't really have an answer for me. There's no way of knowing whether it's genetics, because we don't know if you were born with it and it's just now being caught. So I have to come back in 6 months to do another test to see if it spread, got worse, or stayed the same. And he also said it's only in one eye versus 2. If it was genetics, the chance it would be in both eyes, not just one. And then he also said, because I told him like why, like what prompted this whole test, and I told him that like, you know, it's for the flight physical, and he said that there's another test that I have to do, which is like the vision, it was like some vision physical, like I don't know, it was like some vision portion And he said I couldn't do it with my eyes dilated, so I had to come back on a later date, which is in September, so that's like a month away. But when I was there, he wanted to do more tests to see. I had to get dye put into my arm. He said it was like a vegetable dye, so it's not harmful to the body, but he said that, like, you know, your pee is gonna be like neon, like highlighter yellow or orange for the next few days, and your poop's gonna be green. But they just inject it, and then they take like photos of your eye, and it's to see like where it like starts and like where all the white spots are coming from. So he did that, showed that to me, and like funny story, that same day, this was right before work, because I work second shift now, so I have to go in a little before 2:15 p.m. But when I went into work, I get there about an hour of being there. My boss comes up to me. He says, hey, he was like, come with me. I'm like, all right. So we go on the side by side, and he takes me to the building. And then he goes, you know, you've been randomly selected for a drug test. I'm like, okay. And I was like, well, it's going to be some bright yellow. And he started laughing. And I was like, not due to dehydration. I was like, I just had a vision test before I got here, you know, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So I let the nurse know too, because I said, just so you're not alarmed, my piss is going to be like highlighter yellow. And it was funny because like you're not allowed to like flush. She said don't flush after you pee. She has to go in there, you know, whatever. And like I feel like every time I get like randomly popped for like a drug test, I always have to go number 2. So like I was like, god damn it. I was like, I can't do that to that poor woman because I can't flush. So I was like, I'll just hold it in. I mean, my boss literally grabbed me right before I was gonna use the bathroom anyways. So it was like perfect timing, but there wasn't, because I had to hold that part in. But yeah, it was funny because she had the tubes, and she even had to make like a comment. She was like, I think she put lime yellow urine due to vision test, and you know, she explained it, you know, whatever. But yeah, so just my luck. I had a random drug test on the same day where my piss was like highlighter yellow, and then I forgot all about it until I came home. After I got the vision test, I came home and then I peed and then I wiped, and I'm like, bro, what the hell? I was like, why is it so yellow? I was like, oh, because the thing, it looks like somebody just cracked open a glow stick, like a yellow one. That's how like bright it was. I was like, oh my gosh. But yep, that's my experience for the NAMI. I don't have like any more information, but that's pretty much all I got. I'm just waiting for the last portion of the eye exam so I can get the information to the gunnery sergeant and then get cleared and then be good to go. But if you have any questions, hopefully I can answer it. Just comment below, and thank you for your support. Bye.